Have you ever wondered how much the cost of roofers, electricians, painters, cost of lumber affects the world of real estate and the real estate pricing? Well, actually, those two industries are tied very, very closely together. So, one of the things that we like to do is watch what's going on in the world of construction because that gives us clues into where our market's going and what's going on in the real estate world. So, every quarter they come out with the quarterly construction insight. So, that just came out for 2024, and it was really interesting to kind of dig in a little bit deeper into this. So from January 2024 to May of 2024, costs of lumber have actually decreased to 3% or less. And I was actually listening to a podcast from a lumber economist, yes, they do exist, that were almost down to pre-COVID lumber prices, which is really good. However, what was really interesting that even though lumber was down, carpet and clay bricks went up over 6%. So that's kind of crazy. And this looks at Canada and also the United States. However, the prices have increased about 1.3% overall in the United States and 2.96% in Canada, which is very interesting. This really caught my attention. Carpet was up 10% and lumber was down a little bit over too, but look, copper wire and PVC pipe is down. So as we're seeing, the cost to build homes are changing and some of the prices are increasing and some of them are decreasing, which that's going to have an overall impact on the affordability of that finished product. It also comes into play too with remodels as well. So very, very directly tied into the world of real estate. Labor costs are something that economists really track closely, especially now with inflation and everything kind of ties into labor costs for building and the laborers. And so what those costs are will have a direct impact on the cost of housing, affordability, and it has such broad overarching implications. So when we looked at this quarter, roofers, the cost of a roofer was up almost 2.5% in United States. The electricians were up, painters were up, bricklayers were up, pipe fitters were down, plumbers were down, cement masons were down. So it's really interesting to see when you start to break apart what's going on in each little segment of the construction world and how that plays. So what does that really mean for us in the world of real estate? What that means is because it's still costing a lot to build houses and new construction and remodels are up, that's going to keep prices up, even though we might see some other indications as far as the investment world, right? This does tie directly into the investment world. It's interesting the deeper you go into the economy, how everything is so tied together, and you can't look at one aspect without looking at the other aspect. This is a very important aspect to look at because even though investments on the treasury bonds and interest rates might be doing something different than over here, these numbers are so extremely vital in the world of real estate on our pricing and where we're heading. So as we can see, we still have some higher costs. So because we have higher costs, that's going to mean that the consumer is still going to be paying higher costs. It means that the housing industry is still going to be up higher because of the cost of the electricians, the roofers, the supplies. There's still a lot of supply and demand issues in the economy. So those are all going to have large overarching impacts into the real estate world, and each area of the United States is going to be hit a little bit differently. And of course, that's beyond the scope of this particular video to go into each different area. We're looking more at the West out here, but this is looking at the overall national numbers. I thought this was really interesting too. From quarter 4 2023 to quarter 1 2024, home sales and unemployment have increased. Housing starts and building permits and 30-year fixed mortgages have decreased from quarter 2 2023 to quarter 1 2024. Home prices have increased 1% for new homes and increased 5.3% for existing homes. So that's showing you that all these different little key factors in the world of construction are definitely having an impact on the pricing for homes, new sales, and also existing sales. I hope that was interesting for you. Stay tuned to the channel because we'll be having some fun little interesting tidbits coming up.